Yeah, so I want to say a little bit more about the new moon and on the 12th of August in 2026 relating to the Mauna Kea on the Hawaiian island, Hawaiian Kingdom and continuity. And I want to talk about this formation, what I call, you see this? I'm painting here, painting with my finger. This formation, 2 sextiles, 2 trines, one here, one here. And I heard another astrologer call it the mystic rectangle, but I call it the rectangle of politeness. Why? Because we have 2 oppositions here. See? Red lines, confrontation. Can't do without it, right? 2 oppositions. And let me reset that. What do we do when we are polite, when we are diplomatic? How do we go around direct confrontations and keep it peaceful? So here I've started talking about Venus in the first house being I, myself, and me, but also being at home in Libra, which is the 7th house, opposite of the first house, because in the 7th house everything is about a partner. Now, lately I've been seeing these Chinese AI dramas, and I was intrigued by the overlapping of Confucianism, Taoism, communism, and capitalism, and the whole value system of love being filial love to your parents, love to your children, very much more than in Western drama. So I've been immersing myself into this as Venus being in her house, and in the house it's beautiful. And Venus has resources. I'm not into money. People know that. Yeah, I don't deal with money. I deal with what I need, and I get it through my work, but I don't deal with money. But Venus, for those of you who deal with money, Venus here has a partner and an opposer, and that's Neptune. And Neptune says, why, like Judas in the Bible saying to Maria Magdalena, why are you wasting so much money on this fantastic ointment and perfume to wash Jesus' feet, and while you should sell it and give it, feed the poor. Yeah, be active, feed the homeless. And Venus says, wait a minute, wait. These are my resources, and I generate them, so I can use them as I want. So here we have a conflict. Let's say Venus is some kind of boss lady, but she's a sweet and beautiful boss lady, and she keeps her things in order, and she's wealthy, and there she has this lover, and she loves him. Yeah, definitely she does love him, but he's always the one urging her, don't eat expensive food. What is good for your health? No. Eat the cheap one, and then distribute it to the poor people. Yeah, and he's kind of treating her like a sugar mummy, but he does it in an idealistic way. He doesn't do it like Judas, like being plain egoistic, as it is said in the New Testament. I mean, there's also texts that allegedly been, about him himself, that he was different from what's in the King James Bible and all these kind of Bibles. But so here you have this relationship, and they're at odds. So they're going around. First of all, they talk it over. Here we have Mercury in Leo. So they're having good conversations about, how to distribute goods. That's what it's all about. How much do we need for ourselves, and how much do we give away to others when we have abundance? But we cannot give so much away that we don't have abundance ourselves, right? So there they talk it over, yeah? Instead of like going head to head. And the first house, here, Venus in the first house, is equivalent to Aries, and Aries is known for going head to head. You see his horns, head through the wall. No. Venus is refined. She's aesthetic, and she's wise. Her wisdom comes out of justice and harmony and beauty. And, oh my God, let this go away. Sorry, I don't know how to make this go. Anyway, so they talk it over. And how do they talk it over? Very, very generously, with sympathy. Right here we have, next to communicator Mercury, we have Jupiter. I talked about Jupiter before. Generous. And all this in Leo. So here is, it's like Putin talking with the head of state of China or Iran or so. This is highest level of diplomacy. And and there it is discussed. How much to keep for ourselves as a couple, yeah? And how much do we give away? And on the other side, Venus is using a lot of intensity here. Pluto is intense. And Venus is telling, through her passion for beauty and the beauty that is derived out of justice and harmony. Yeah, there's no harmony without justice, right? So there comes beauty. And so she's passionate about it. She's really passionate about making the world safe for everyone. How do you do that? By giving everybody enough so that nobody has to deceive, to steal, to rob, because there's enough. Why would you do that if there is enough? So this is her passion. Pluto in Aquarius. And it's also Pluto here is serving, is in the 6th house. 6th house is equivalent to Virgo. That's the 6th house is the house of service. And then, I was just making a mistake. No, it's not about this. The 6th house is, that's where the karmic aim is. So let me reset that. Pluto's in the 5th house. And the 5th house is equivalent to Leo. And in the 5th house, we are having the courage to be on stage. So Venus is able to make a grand appearance on stage. Like she can walk slowly down a big, beautiful staircase with a fantastic gown, and she's making an appearance to state her case with Neptune here. And of course, Neptune is impressed and say, well, yeah, we can work together, We want all women to be as beautiful and graceful and wise, each in her own way, and we'll make it so. Yeah, so there they can negotiate. And then the other opposition, of course, is here between those who talk and the intensity of, what both of them want to have done, which is sometimes opposing each other, right? So that is, there we have a beautiful image of diplomacy, yeah, where we don't get to butting heads with each other and exchanging blows, but we are acting around it. Then again, I want to talk more about Haumea. in Scorpio because she is in the second house. And it's not only in Hawaii, but it's our long-term aim is land back. Land to everybody who loves the earth, is ready and willing and able to cherish living close to the earth instead of some kind of penthouse, and putting their hands into the dirt, into the earth, and not call the earth dirt or soil, right? I've been talking about this. And now here Haumea in Scorpio, I've talked about this before, it's a little bit in the situation of a, like there's still men around. I recently even worked for 2 years for a man who believed that women are nothing like breeding vessels and servants and satisfiers, satisfiers of male needs or desires or perversions or what have you, yeah. And so Haumea is, because of that, she's in opposition with Chiron. And Chiron, having just entered Taurus, the first earth sign, that's the summer house of Venus, right? And so we are having a big crisis here. And we're having this crisis for the longest time, and now it's coming to a head. Yeah. What is done to women's bodies? What is done in order to satisfy perverted male desires? All these beauty surgeries, all this birth control, so that women are supposed to be ready and willing and able, like 24/7, to satisfy somebody's sexual drives or desires. That is horrible, And lately I have been posting about a population decline. Surprise, surprise. We're in a dramatic depopulation agenda. Yeah, that's not by chance. People think that's a conspiracy theory. No, we're sprayed with like bugs. We're poisoned with food, we're poisoned with the medicine we're supposed to take for healing things. They poison us, everything. Yeah, so we are in a big crisis, and Chiron here says the crisis is on Earth, and it has something to do how we are treating fertility. Yeah, the fertility of the earth. Like, who doesn't love flowers, especially in Hawaii? Now, what is flowers actually? That is the genitals of the plants turned up. The human female going down, and what is the word for vagina in Hawaiian is punani, which is short for puanani, beautiful flower. So there's a whole different attitude towards sexuality and towards the what they call regenerative, reproductive. No, we are not producing anything. We're not producing slaves for factories. We are creating. The greatest creation is happening in female bellies. Please, men procreating, women is not reproducing. No, we're creating. And each human being is such an individual mystery. Yeah. So that's about fertility, and now we come to the fertility of the earth. What are we going to eat if the earth doesn't grow? Fruit, yeah, seeds, all of that. So this is so here Chiron says I would really call it the rape, the abuse of Haumea in patriarchal times, which, it's like between 6 and 4,000 years, and in some regions, like in Hawaii, it was only like about 800. You find still very many matriarchal traits in Africa. That's why I was totally into Africa most of my adult life, because you find the traits there. And what Western capitalism has brought over the world, it's just like extortion, exploitation, destruction. Yeah, and now we have to recover from that, and so this is the big opposition between Haumea and Chiron. Say we have to heal our relationship to the female regenerative powers, because that's our mother. Yeah. So here we have, let me reset. We have, this is not very strong, but here is Pluto, with Pluto, a square, and then we have the opposition. So we have this. And I call that that's the achievement cube. The cube is not, it's not a rectangle. I forgot the word right now. This formation, that's the achievement. It's almost like being crucified by things we have to achieve. And it has to happen a lot through communication. And there will be, no matter how diplomatic we are, when it comes to healing the earth, we have to go into conflict, bickering. And this is now a little bit my opinion. There's this whole movement which, global warming and glowing this, and by the same time we are bombarded by HAARP. Please, all this horrible weather changes, like what happened in Lahaina, all these fires. See, this is not Mother Nature. No, this is something else that is deliberate, and that's part of the depopulation agenda. Okay, I stop right here.